Myself, I'm R.BHUSHAN. Welcome to ASG IAS Current Affairs, fast, furious, and accurate editorial of the Hindustan Times today. It is today, 13th of September 2019. This article was written by Shekhar Gupta. New history has begun in Kashmir. Its territorial status will never change. Modi's move is irreversible and Pakistan has lost it. This is the opinion of Mr. Shekhar Gupta, not mine. Here is somewhat different way of looking at Jammu and Kashmir. One side in the conflict had used in the descriptions on the Kashmir issue for 70 years as it cost in the Pir Panjal Rock, Pir Panjal Rock, Pir Panjal Rock, Pir Panjal Rock. It is the unfinished business of the partition. That side was Pakistan. India never agreed, not even by way of emphasizing its claim on Pakistan occupied Kashmir. POK. India's view was this: partition entitled in 1947. We have moved on. So should you. It wasn't stated, but unambiguously implied. Pakistan disagreed in the decade of 1950. It wanted to strengthen its armed forces by joining the United States-led military pact that achieved in 1968. Launched a full-fledged military campaign to take Kashmir by force to settle that unfinished business by but failed. It spent the 1970s recuperating from defeat and the dismemberment of 1971. Former Pakistan Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto turned its attention westwards towards Islamic countries, especially the Arabs and the Solace in the Ummah. The unfinished business wasn't forgotten. The Pakistani establishment was biding its time. The time came in 1980s, 1989-90. Pakistan believed it now had a proven strategy. It was that one of the used to defeat Soviets in Afghanistan. It is also the nuclear umbrella. The asymmetric war launched in Kashmir at this time is now 30th year. In the 1990s, it warned after PV Narasimha Rao crushed the insurgency. It rose again with the pan-Islam. Islamizations of insurgency has forgotten Mujahideen surface. The intrusion in Kargil was the next gambit that failed because India's resolute response. The Pakistan non-existent territorial leverage after General Pervez Musharraf a coup in 1999. The insurgency was fully revived, now manned entirely by Pakistan jihadis as it peaked by Atal Bihari Vajpayee government accepted a Pakistan overture for a summit, but the imperious manner in which Muzaffar conducted himself in Agra and shocked even in a incorrigible peacenik like former Prime Minister I.K. Gujral. He said Musharraf was behaving as if he was based in defeated country. The Agra summit failed. Pakistan global leverage also returned soon with 9/11 from being an expendable old ally turn no sense. Pakistan emerged a stalwart ally. Former United States George W. Bush descriptions yet again bloodshed in the Kashmir peaked. You want to know how strong Pakistan hold on the Americans was this year when Kashmir's first suicide bomber blew its assembly. Then the Secretary of State Colin Powell infamously described it as an attack on Indian government facility. The attack on Parliament near war, following it in the long peace process with the Musharraf during the tenures of the Vajpayee and Manmohan is a relatively recent history. Regrettably, the Pakistani establishment was again only buying time, keeping pace with all the peacemaking efforts. Was prerogative asymmetric warfare. India was hit the something big that moment of the inter-services intelligence calculated India had too long a period of respite. There were many airtrain bombings attacks here in the mainland India besides routinely in Kashmir, and then the Mumbai massacres of 2008. Mumbai massacres of 2008. The pattern continued in the following decade. Every thaw was followed by a kick in the India signs. Gurdaspur, Pathankot, Pulwama, keep counting. India responded in a variety of ways, from counter-insurgency in Kashmir, a localized fight, Kargil, coercive diplomacy after a parliament attack on a strategic restaurant 26/11. The initiative was always with Pakistan for 70 years. Pakistan had brainwashed itself into a believing that if it kept bleeding India would one day give in. Pakistan had given up hope of winning Kashmir after its 1965 misadventure, but there was always the hope for something, at least a pace saver, something to write some home about from four district valley and land grab deal in the pre-1965 Swarna Singh negotiation, Bhutto Swarna Singh under its big power, mostly pressure, British pressure, British pressure to open the borders and the treaty bound Kashmir autonomy in the Musharraf Bajpayee Manmohan Singh era. Pakistan had moderated its expectation, but it was confident of getting something in the end, something to claim that it had concluded that unfinished business of partition. Instead, on 5th August, the government, Modi government, finished the business. Every Indian Prime Minister had moved the clock in the same direction. Article 370 and Kashmiri special status autonomy had weighted down, over the decades, as if serendipitously, Narendra Modi was sealed that, of course, it brings him a great benefit in domestic politics, but never claimed he wasn't a politician. This business finished. Where do we go next? For the first time, 1947, Pakistan has a strategy when it doesn't have initiative. India shut the door on negotiation on the status of Kashmir, at least the part of Jammu and Kashmir with India. Pakistan can, of course, try to take it by force again. A full-fledged war will have its own consequences. Resumptions of the terrorism will be countered under the definitions of a new normal. Here is the oldest reality of Kashmir. It was never an international or even a bilateral issue. The thing bilateral was a mutual hypocrisy. For Pakistan, it was the fraudulent presence of the Azad Kashmir, if Azadi or any third option was available in the besides India or Pakistan. For India, it was the insincere of the subterfuge of a moral, political, and constitutional commitment to Kashmiri autonomy and special status. None of our 13 prime ministers believed that, not even Jawaharlal Nehru. All this would now breed. The new reality is therefore essentially the old one. There will be no territorial exchange that will be between the two countries. Even the fight 1,000-year war, as Bhutto had threatened, only 72 have gone yet. Not even if they drop all the nukes on each other, Kashmir territorial status was never going to change. Now even cosmetic optical face saviors to Pakistan are out. There is a netter but self-destructively power sections among the Pakistan establishment, which still is a scriptural belief of Gajwa-e-Hind, where the Islamic forces led by them will be the break up and subjugate India. That is exactly what the fantasy echoed by the idiotic few, and don't believe, who sort of Bharat tere tukde honge. The other day, India isn't about to break up, and Kashmir will stay where it is. Pakistan is out of the equal now. Where do go we next? First concept, whether or not you like Narendra Modi or Amit Shah, there is a zero popular support for the prospect of the war happened August the 5th, being reverse zero on the status of Kashmir. There is a widest political and popular unanimity in India. This accepted the junk and guilt and the self-fledged since you wear your constitution read by Article 1 and not 370. Article 1 lists the state of territories of India and has Jammu and Kashmir firmly at number 15. You can't swear by your constitution, but only by a solitary temporary Article 370 and fight with Article 1. What follows is a less cluttered speak campaign fight for the restorations of all civil and human rights, restorations of communications, commerce, movement, assembly, peaceful protest, and political activity in Jammu and Kashmir. It's a good fight for the Kashmiri constitutional right is now equal fellow than citizenship. There is no reason why they should not have the same right as the Indian Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Gujarat. It should have always been the case, except those that lingering uncertainties about the dispute with Pakistan and unfinished business of partition. After the loss of more than 42,000 lives in 30 years, a new history and began in Kashmir, we can make it much better than the past. This article was written by Mr. Shekhar Gupta. Thank you.